want to talk about Sega because apparently something major has happened with Sega that everybody is talking about, and Smash was a little bit scared to talk about it on his stream last night.
Well, I might talk about it tonight.
Everyone else a pussy, but then he wants to anyway. Smash JT did not talk about the fact that, and this is huge news, by the way. Sega somehow, some way, accidentally, and this is in a world, by the way, where obviously sales figures are not well known, and they're going with players engaged. Some publishers and studios are going with players engaged. They're not talking about copies sold, et cetera, et cetera. Well, Sega accidentally made sales data public for 11 of their major games.
And it was actually like, because I checked on it first, and it was like it was their slide presentation, and it was actually from Sega, so it is a real story. It's not like legit, was it hacked? No. And it's like, no, this is real.
I made sure before we covered it because this is pretty huge, right? So people always wonder like what the numbers look like, and obviously this is Sega, so it's not like we're talking about some of these bigger crazy publishers, even though Sega's a big publisher still, but everybody will love to know what the Dragon Age of Veilguard real numbers were, but obviously we're never going to get that. But
true.
So let's go down to this. Hopefully it hasn't been taken down yet. Let me see.
I got it all up here if you need it. So
I don't think they're going to take it down because at the end of the day, they made it public, right? It's not like somebody
Ubisoft
internally
made some of their
leaked it
stuff public too, and then they took it down. Then they started striking people. So
no. The game that you're talking about with Ubisoft, they leaked that shit. It got leaked from somebody internally. It wasn't planned. Not like this. This was
true.
This was like leaked, but it was them in their public presentation. They
like it was a mistake.
It was a mistake.
Yeah.
So at this point, I think it's pretty safe to cover it.
I don't know. I told you in the pre-show, I'm just a little gun shy with how everyone's been treating content creators these days.
No, I get it. I don't think it's copyrighted with the US fucking library or whatever it's called.
Right.
Congress. So anyway, we got something interesting. So Persona 5, I think Persona games everybody pretty much knows sells pretty well for the most part.
Yep.
In fiscal year of 2020, 1.03 million units sold. And then fiscal year 21, 700,000 copies sold. Fiscal year 22, 350,000. Fiscal year 23, 1.82 million.
Did they have a remake come out, or was it put on more platforms? Because that makes no sense.
Yeah, it was put on more platforms.
I think it was more platforms, and it probably was sales. Because remember, these are copies. This is not dollar amount.
Good point. Okay.
So 1.82 million copies. Fiscal year 24, 1.60 million copies. And then 25. So it's been consistently above 1.5 million copies after multi-platform.
For a while, I know Persona 5 was exclusive to the PlayStation platform. It was on PS. PSP? The original started out on PS3, but then the Royal version, was a PS4, I think, and PS5.
And then
let's do some investing,
right?
Hold on.
They had PS Vita versions.
Persona
not for Persona 5.
No. I'm talking Golden. But yeah.
Yeah, Persona 4 Golden,
24, 22. Okay, so fun fact, fiscal year 22 to 23 is when it came out on Steam.
Wow.
Persona 5 Royale. So look at the numbers difference, bro.
Dude,
PC, Steam numbers don't matter. Like, bro, I'm so tired of people saying that shit.
These numbers should prove to publishers to stop doing exclusivity on platforms for consoles.
Not going to happen.
Like, it's crazy. Although maybe they know and they can double dip on people, like what Take-Two does with GTA. Like, oh, it's going to be PlayStation first when they know everyone's going to buy it again on PC afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the estimations on Steam, they're estimating about 3 million copies sold. So it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, exclusives are dying. I mean, that is not really much of a thing anymore. Usually it's like a year, though. So it's like if it happens, it's like for a year. It's like, oh, well, my catalog, my back catalog will be fine. And there's plenty of new games to indulge in. But look at Stellar Blade. It's like they money hatted Stellar Blade. They PlayStation published Stellar Blade. But technically the devs didn't need to do all that. They just want to maximize profit. That was their idea. But Stellar Blade didn't sell PS5s. Like, what was the point of that? The PC sales proved that motherfuckers had no problem waiting a whole year and then just buying it in droves. So I mean, the whole point of exclusives was to sell consoles, and that really isn't a thing anymore. So,
well, didn't Sony own part of Shift Up or have an investment with them?
I don't believe so. I just know that they struck a deal together.
They have a
I think they partially
partnership.
funded the game, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm
first
just
game
checking right now. It's they have a strong partnership with Sony, particularly through collaboration like Stellar Blade. The partnership with Sony has brought Shift Up into the AAA console space, but yeah, there's no official ownership.
Yeah, I
there.
think I think more than anything else, the partnership with Sony was to bring them to like the like the gaming, us, the gaming sphere, not mobile gaming. Like I think that was to differentiate themselves, and I can understand that. Partnering with Sony gave them a lot of legitimacy, especially since they were making a legitimate video game. So I can understand that.
I just think it's funny because all these major AAA companies like EA, Sony, Square, they're all, or Sony specifically, are all interested in buying live service companies when the money's being made from games like Stellar Blade and Expedition 33 and all these other games. But they're not looking at buying those studios because they're like, oh, there's no money in this. It's like, that's where the fucking money is, you idiots.
Sonic Frontiers is interesting. Sonic Frontiers, when it came out in 3.2 million copies in that year.
Hell yeah.
And then it kind of, I don't want to say fizzled out because these are still good numbers, but 760 and 24 and 610 and 25. And then you got Team Sonic Racing, 1.38 when it first came out, and then it just kind of fizzled out from there.
That's a
but
lot.
Still,
though.
it went to 3.
So
the totals.
That was
Persona's
also that was also on iPad too. So
yeah.
Who the fuck is playing Team Sonic Racing on iPad? Let's be real.
Yeah, surprised.
I mean, not my kids, but there's a lot of kids that were when it came out. I remember.
In all fairness, these are games that aren't really getting like major major DLC or anything like that from what I know. And nothing that's caught traction by any means. So these are like sort of, Sega isn't really good at live service, and they don't really try it. So Sonic Superstars, Sonic Team Racing kind of came out. It was popular for a little bit, then just dropped. So that's just kind of what it is.
I thought Yakuza would, Like a Dragon, would be a little bit higher than this, to be honest with you. I mean, the numbers seem to have boosted some years, probably through multiple sales of some kind, because I know these games go on sale often. But
I've seen it on sale for as low as I've seen it for like $5 or $10.
If you're playing Yakuza Like a Dragon over Judgment, then you're a fucking loser. I'm just saying.
True.
Damn.
Ouch.
You're going hard, man.
I tried it. It's the main protagonist is a Homo sapien, to say the least, but he ain't fucking with Yagami, bro.
That's insane. And then Three Kingdoms has a total of 3.21 million, and Sonic Superstar, something a little bit more recent, 2.43 million after only 2 years, which is, man, Sonic does pretty decent.
Yeah, Sonic is the headline of Sega.
Yeah,
I just feel like
Reload.
I feel like, well, before you go on to the next one, I feel like Sega doesn't know what to do with Sonic. I feel like they just kind of like
no. Okay, I will say that is true. They did not know what the fuck they were doing with Sonic after like Shadow the Hedgehog back in 2006. They just threw out a bunch of bullshit that like did or did not work out, and it was just some of the most unmemorable shit. Then Frontiers dropped. They were like, "Oh, okay, this is what y'all wanted."
Yep.
So they gave us more of that.
Do you think they're at this point where they're what the hamster?
What?
The hedgehog?
How do they care about that hamster?
Wait, what?
I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
He can repent for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's retarded.
That's retarded. So, and then we got Warhammer 3 at 2.34 million, SMTV at 2.11 million, and then Persona 3 Reload for only 2 years at almost 2.1 million. So Persona 3 is hitting pretty strong too.
Even despite being on Game Pass.
Exactly. And there's more. Hold on.
Oh yeah.
By the way,
good thing Leon's not here. Good point. Leon's missing a lot of Sonic talk right now.
Bro, that's why I yelled at him like of all the weeks where you have to miss. Yeah. You missed the week we talk about Sega.
That's like me with Power World.
Bro, that's like if we're talking about Resident Evil and you don't show up. To be honest, like what are you talking about, dude? Welcome back, Kato. We got Infinite Wealth.
Hola.
At 1.66 million, which honestly that's a little bit shocking, but and Like a Dragon Gaiden at 960,000 or Gaiden. So that's all we see so far. But I find this to be really interesting numbers, but also at the same token, man, you can kind of see how Sega just gets fucking wrecked by Nintendo.
Did they not cover Pirate Yakuza?
No.
That sucks. That's one I actually really wanted to know about.
Yeah, no. I mean, if we look at some of the other Like a Dragon numbers, we could probably estimate that it's.
I don't know. I feel
necessarily
like
amazing.
This was the first one that kind of started pulling people from outside that clique into that series. So I would be curious to see if it sold more than the other ones. That's what I was really wondering about. But anyway, sorry.
No, it's fine. So, I mean, is this kind of in line with what people would think when it comes to Sega and the numbers? Do you think it's lower than what you would have thought? Like, because I'm thinking about like Sonic Frontiers kind of lines up where I thought it was going to land, but some of these Like a Dragon games, man, I'm surprised they're as low as they are. Am I just off on that?
I feel like they're right where I thought they'd be because they're kind of a niche. I mean, it's a growing niche, and more people are getting into it, but. Like, even for me, I never really even got into Yakuza games like when they first started coming out because I'm like, oh no, that's too much of a niche that I don't care about. Now it's like everyone's like, you got to go play the Yakuza games. They're actually really good. So
yeah.
What about the fact that Persona is doing better than Sonic?
That doesn't really surprise me because, like I said, Sega's been fumbling Sonic for so long, and Persona has really hit the ground running as soon as that launched. That's been a whole IP.
Which is bullshit, by the way.
Right. I agree. I'm not saying I agree with Sega. I'm just saying that's what's been happening. So
I think the difference between Persona and the Yakuza games here is simply because every new mainline Persona is a new story. Whereas Yakuza, in order to get the whole picture, you gotta start from the beginning. And it's like a lot of people ain't doing that shit. And that's kind of the thing that's locking them out. I'm sad we don't get Judgment and Lost Judgment numbers here because that's like a great entry point for a lot of people that like the type of style the Yakuza games are, but they don't want to start from the beginning. So that kind of sucks we don't have that as a comparison.
So it's kind of like trying to get into One Piece in anime. It's like a dedication. You kind of have to be ready to go through all of the content to get to the, to understand everything. I get it. Persona 5, is that on Game Pass, by the way?
It was at some point. I don't know if it's
because some people are saying that
it got removed 12 months ago.
12 months ago. Wow. All right. I mean, well, it was on Game Pass and it's still pulling great numbers. So, because some people were saying in the chat, I think that the Yakuza games are low because they're on Game Pass. I'm like, well, the Persona games were on Game Pass too at one point.
Yep.
Which, let's be real now, Xbox ain't really pushing sales. I mean, come on, bro.
Right.
I mean, kind of a little bit of a sidebar, but still on point. That's why I can't stand Game Pass. It's like if you got to put a game on it, it needs. I understand licenses and shit. I get all that, but it's like you can't put a game, especially in the modern era, on a service that takes time to play. And knowing that it could someday be removed, it's like it makes me never want to even bother starting it because it could be pulled away from me while I'm playing it.
That is
fuck
true.
That.
I mean, Game Pass is good for people that indulge in gaming consistently. Really, that's why.
God damn, Cassie.
No. Like, because like even for me, dude, I work full-time job. I fucking I do YouTube. I have family obligations. I have responsibilities. So like, Game Pass wouldn't even be worth it for me. It wouldn't. I wouldn't get the most out of it. So,
but think about we live in this fucking world, and we're both agreeing on that. So people out there that don't live in the gaming world, imagine them paying 20 what is it, $20 a month every month for it, and it's going to go up soon as they're talking about.
Well, I mean, it's very situational. Like I said, if you're a parent and you got like 4 kids. Game Pass is amazing because, like, oh my god,
that's
like these kids are going to be entertained.
Good point.
Yeah, it's like for kids who don't really care that much about games, just whatever game will keep them entertained for a bit.
That's a great point.
Pretty much meant for.
I mean, also, it was kind of. I personally think Game Pass is one of the best deals in gaming, because it would be one thing if it was like we're just getting games like they used to do with like games with gold, whatever. You're like, all right, whatever. Like occasionally I find, but like they're putting brand new games on here, and I can't tell you how many bullets I've dodged not dropping $70 on a brand new game to play it and it'd be dog shit and then be like, well, fuck it. And I wasted that money. It's like, oh, cool. It's day one Game Pass. I play it. And if I like it, like Expedition 33, I loved it. I bought it, but I didn't buy it because I was worried about leaving Game Pass. I bought it because now I get to support the developer. Like, you know, so it's like, if I really want to keep a game, I'll go out and buy it. But then other things like Call of Duty now, huge benefit for me. If I play Call of Duty, I don't have to pay for it. I'm already playing Game Pass. So I'm like, cool. I get to play the new Call of Duty. I don't got to drop $60 annually for this. And if it sucks, I can stop playing it at any time. I could walk away from the whole thing. So like,
which you did.
You know, which you did. It fell off a cliff and I uninstalled it, haven't went back. But guess what? I didn't drop $70 on it. So now I don't have to deal with that cost sunk fallacy of like, fuck, I got to keep playing this because I just dropped $70 on it, you know? Or so I think there's a benefit to it all. The biggest thing that, I mean, we've talked about this a lot is this can't be profitable for them. So where's the fine print that we're not seeing?
The fine print is what I said earlier, is they're going to raise the price to make it profitable, and that's what it's going to turn into a shit show.
Yeah. I mean, the other part of it too is I really do think, and I've been saying this for a long time, Microsoft kind of was the one that blew the lid off like exclusivity when they started going, you can play it on PC and on Xbox. I think Microsoft is making a play to try to just get into everybody's homes. I think at some point they're just going to say, listen, man, it's better for us or you to just get Xbox and sign up with Microsoft. You know, PlayStation still got exclusives. That's cool. But like, you don't have to drop $500 on a PlayStation to play with us. Well, you got to have your own PC. If you want to get one of our PCs, cool, do it. You know, I always thought that was their end game anyways, is to be in everyone's home and just be a part of everybody's life in general.
Yeah.
So,
Xbox is moving towards an ecosystem. And that's going to be the future, really. If PlayStation doesn't figure out what they're doing in terms of a launch pad for next generation, they might end up behind, because they got if you starting from 0 with a PS6 and you have no actual ecosystem. I mean, early sales is going to be rough for them, but Xbox, they're just planning to create an entire ecosystem where you could play anywhere. And that's not an easy thing to do. Whether they actually accomplish that, thoroughly or not, I can't really say. But that's where they're headed.